Hello guys, welcome to another session. Today we are going to discuss about a famous case study, and the name of the case study is Collector of Madura versus Moottoo Ramalinga Sethupathy. In other words, we can call it Ramnad case. By this case, we can have this clear proof of uses with the written text of law. So, what was the fact? The Zamindar of Ramnad had died without any legal heir. Under British law, if any Zamindar died without any heirs after the death of his wife, the Zamindari would be seized by the government, which is called the doctrine of left. After the death of Zamindar of Ramnad, his estate vested on his wife Rani Parvathavardhini. So after the death of her husband, to protect the Zamindari to be seized by British government, she adopted a son with the consent of her husband sapindas, but there was no authorization of adoption from her husband. We all know that a widow cannot adopt a child without the authorization of or consent of her husband. When the collector of Madura came to know about the date of Zamindar, he notified about the date of Zamindar and about that he did not have any legal heir. So according to the law of the date of Rani Parvathavardhini, Zamindari should be seized by government. But after the date of the Rani Parvathavardhini, her adopted son claimed as an adopted son and brought a suit for declaration of the validity of the adoption. So, what is the issue here? The issue was whether a widow can adopt a legal heir without her husband's authority, whether an adoption made by the widow was valid with just the consent of the sapindas. The reasoning beside the judgment that the judge gave was if any conflict arises between a custom and the text of the Smrtis, which is a written source, such custom will override the text. If any conflict arises between a custom and the text of the Smrtis, which is written source, such custom will override the text. If any conflict, custom can be considered as the principal source for the development of Hindu law. Custom is common parlance in an act or behavior which is repetitive or is traditionally accepted, or can also be defined as a habitual practice that a person is uniformly following for a long time. It can also be termed as rule of conduct. Codified Hindu law has given an important place to the custom and uses and consider it as a parent of Hindu law. But it is limited to certain extents, as the custom have to be expressly proved or brought to the notice of establish it as law. Custom under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 has been used in three situations. Firstly, the marriage can be solicited as per the customary tradition which is followed by the party. Secondly, divorce can be obtained by parties on the prevailing custom and uses. Thirdly, adoption can be done as per the customary rules. Judgment. The Judgment Previously Council evaluated different schools and sources of Hindu law while delivering its judgment in this case. After tracing the historical development of Hindu law, the court held that clear proof of uses will overweigh the written text of the Hindu law. Custom is one of the most important source of Hindu law. It is important to the point that if any conflict arises between a custom and the text of Smritis, which is a written source, such custom will override the text. The Privy Council based their decision on the Smritis, Chandrika and Prasha Madhve, which are the most authoritative source in Hindu law regarding adoption, and conclude that in the Dravida school, even in the absence of authority from husband, a widow is entitled to adopt a son with the assent of his sapindas or kindred. The Privy Council held that under the Hindu system of law, the clear proof of custom will outweigh the written text of the law. Conclusion. Hindu law is a law which is considered to be of divine nature, as it is believed that it has been developed on the word of God. There is theories given by God. It is one of the most ancient law and was written by various rishi. There are various sources of Hindu law. Sources of Hindu law are divided into two categories, namely ancient source and modern source. Ancient source of Hindu law includes Shrutis, Smritis, commentaries, digest, and custom and uses. Modern sources include judgment and precedents, legislation, justice, equity, and good conscience. Among the various ancient sources of Hindu customary uses are regarded as one of the most important sources of Hindu law. They are considered as a parent of Hindu law. Custom and uses have thus played a major role in developing Hindu law. Relevant judgments are given below. You can also search for them, and you can have a briefly details about this cases. Thank you so much for your time.